Tinutuon ni Prime Minister Justine Trudeau ang banta sa dagdag paghihigpit para sa lahat ng mga gustong pumasok ng Canada. Ang mga detalye sa report na ito. Mas mabusising proseso at mas pinabigat sa bulsa ang sasalubong sa sinumang traveler na darating sa Canada.
In addition to the pre-boarding test we already acquire, as soon as possible in the coming weeks, we will be introducing mandatory PCR testing at the airport for people returning to Canada. Travelers will then have to wait for up to 3 days at an approved hotel for their test results at their own expense, which is expected to be more than $2,000.
Pag nagnegatibo sa airport COVID test, ipagpapatuloy ng traveler ang mandatory 14-day quarantine sa kanyang tahanan o sa isang hotel na babayaran niya. Pag nagpositibo naman, diretso ang traveler sa isang government-designated facility para sa monitoring na babayaran niya pa rin. Nagbabala pa ang Prime Minister, mas mahigpit na babantayan ang mga darating sa Canada.
We are increasing the number of calls we're making from the federal government. We're hiring private security firms to help with those follow-up.
Kaya naman payo ni Trudeau,
now is just not the time to be flying.
Dahil dito, panic mode na raw ang ilang kliyente ng isang travel agency na pag-aari ng Pinoy sa New Westminster, BC.
Marami kaming clients na bumalik sa Philippines para mag-alaga ng magulang. So ngayon na kailangan nila biglang bumalik dito, tapos kailangan nilang kumuha ng ganong kalaking pera. It's not just, hindi lang yung quarantine na 2,000 Canadian dollars, pero also syempre pag yung last minute na pag-change ng mga flights nila.
Kanselado na rin ang air services ng 4 na Canadian Airlines, WestJet, Air Canada, Sunwing at Air Transat sa lahat ng sun destinations tulad ng Caribbean at Mexico simula ngayong linggo hanggang April 30.
A lot of our clients were looking forward to spring break because they were hoping that by that time it would have been better, but with now that's totally out of the question.
They will be making arrangements with their customers who are currently on a trip in these regions to organize their return flights.
Sa 4 na airports na lang din pwedeng lumapag ang lahat ng international flights, Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto at Montreal. Bukod sa mga pagbabago sa air travel, mandatory rin ang pagpapakita ng negative PCR test na mga taong papasok ng US-Canada land border. Asahan na rin daw ang karagdagang testing requirements sa mga susunod na araw.
There could have been like a wider travel ban earlier on.
We've got to really look at the hot spots. Like if they have a high COVID rate, death rate or infection rate, don't send them in.
The travel restriction, it's a little too late.
Sa pag-roll out ng bakuna sa Canada at kung patuloy na susunod sa public health guidelines ang publiko, umaasa ang gobyerno na unti-unting magkakaroon ng pagluluwag bago matapos ang taon.
These are things that will significantly reduce the risk of importation of new variants across the country. What Canada will look like this summer, what Canada will look like this fall, we certainly hope that there will be far fewer restrictions, that we will be able to be back to a more regular life. Whether our international allies and partners will be at that same place is something we're going to have to look at carefully before we reopen international travel, before we get back to normal.